Hey ho Gamerinos, Eurogamer's YouTube editor Ian Higton at your service once again, this time with a look at the 4 new Battlefield 4 maps from the newly released China Rising DLC. It's available right now for premium members to download, however non-premium members will have to wait until the 17th of December to give these battlegrounds a whirl. Now, one important thing to mention about all 4 of these maps is that none of them feature any form of levolution, which I think is really disappointing, or risappointing, if I wanted to make up a stupid word like levolution. Anyway, Eurogamer's John Denton has written a detailed review about all 4 maps, which I've linked to in the video description. So I've stolen some of his words and placed them over this lovely video he captured for me, which was nice of him. Okay, first up is Altai Range. Here a vast peak towers over capture points below, majestic like the throat of the world looming over the frozen fields of Skyrim, although not as tall of course. Unchallenged snipers will dominate from the summit, picking off unsuspecting ground troops like fish fingers in a particularly icy barrel. Success comes then from maintaining control of this peak while dominating at least 2 points below. This turns a game of conquest into a two-pronged affair, with protracted battles on lower ground entirely dependent on trusted teammates carrying out their duties at the top of the mountain. The next arena of war is Dragon Pass, which is a remake of the Battlefield 2 classic Dragon Valley. The action is largely fought on and around a long twisting road that naturally undulates through the valley, allowing just enough cover for infantry combat without the whole affair turning into a massacre. Being a large map, Dragon Valley supports vehicles but does little to accentuate their inclusion. You simply attack in tanks or do not, depending on your playstyle. It's a nondescript space, and anyone experienced in DICE's world will feel pangs of overfamiliarity as you sprint through one-storey huts and crouch in lightly swaying foliage. Still, it's a perfectly acceptable host for games of Russian conquest, the minimum requirements for any Battlefield map, with a nice variety of scenery around capture points and a pleasing through line when progressing from one end of its dogleg geometry to the other. Serviceable, if not special. While a pretty map, Ghulam Peaks will almost certainly find infamy thanks to its cavernous choke points. An arched tunnel sits atop a raised mound, and passing through is the most direct and viable way to reach distant capture points, or the next section of a rush onslaught. It's probably the most nightmarish kill zone since Operation Metro's Ticket Gate, and playtime can often be punctuated by elongated stretches of instant death upon spawning. Thankfully, Ghulam Peaks is also a fantastic place to charge around on the newly reinstated dirt bikes, barrelling through the low-hanging mist as you bypass the carnage on the way to a distant capture point or loose bomb in obliteration mode. It'll take time to adjust to the map's idiosyncrasies, but once teams figure out that it's best to leave that central tunnel well alone, this should blossom into a solid jungle map, something this version of Battlefield has been sorely lacking. Last and probably least is Silk Road, a bizarre level that sees glistening sand dunes surround a flat-packed military base straight from that Call of Duty cutting room floor. The dunes themselves are a joy, perfect for surreptitious sniping and unsurprisingly joyous dirt bike scrambles through the sand, but the actual moment-to-moment action is conspicuous by its complete lack of personality. When stuck in the military base with its sandbagged walls and tin-roofed hangars, the whole thing just bogs down into gun-on-gun tedium. Those who enjoy spending their time grinding weapons will likely shriek with glee as they mow down another unsuspecting medic in a haphazard spray of buckshot, but if you're in Camp Battlefield for the drama, the mayhem and the stories, Silk Road is a purgatorial trudge. So, not really a glowing appraisal from John there about the China Rising DLC. Remember, you can get more details in his review by following the link in the video description. I'm yet to play the maps myself, but I'll be hosting some live-streamed community multiplayer matches on them as soon as they're made available to all players, not just those money-bagged premium owners. So make sure you give us a subscribe by clicking on that on-screen annotation if you want to see that and a whole lot more. Peace!